I'm John White. Today we're going to be talking about how to propagate some plants with it being hot. Maybe you'd like to be indoors a little bit, and this is kind of an activity you can work on as far as propagating some of your favorite house plants. So we want to talk about some of the basics as far as what you need. And one of the things is a soil mix that is what we call a soilless mix. So this is a media for holding your plants in, your cuttings. But what it is a mix that does not have any soil in it. It just has vermiculite, perlite, and peat moss in it. And it can be, you can buy them in different mixes, so some of them are mixed real light so that they're good for cacti and stuff, and then some have a lot more organic matter, more of the peat in it for other plants, so you can kind of get different formulations, or you can buy one and then add vermiculite or perlite later to it. But what we want is a soilless mix that keeps different fungal organisms from being in the mix when you get ready to start your cuttings. The other things that we want are a good sharp knife. So we want to have a knife that has a very, very sharp blade, and it's very important that this knife be kept just for that sole purpose of working with your plants. If it's used to cut other items, it may dull the blade, and then when you go to cut the plant, you're actually going to make kind of a fractured or broken cut. So you want to make very, very clean cuts. The other thing that we might need is a good pair of hand pruners when we're taking cuttings to make sure we take a good clean cut, and then maybe we can use the knife or a razor blade to make that very final, good, secure cut. When we're working with some of our cuttings, we're going to need a rooting hormone material. This is an old favorite called Rootone. There's also a couple other brands out that are rooting hormones, and what these do are help the cutting to put out some kind of root growth on the cut end. So some of our plants are a little bit harder to propagate as far as getting root growth on them, and so these type of materials, they're a natural plant hormone that actually helps the cut area to induce root growth and makes the cutting much more successful. Our soil mixes can be very sterile, so we may need to add an additional fertilizer. This is not so important with the cuttings as it is with the plant after it starts growing, but we can use a slow release type fertilizer to mix into the mix ahead of time, and the instructions are on these containers. So we want to start out with let's start out with the Pothos. This is very common in a lot of homes and businesses. Grows out quite long. As we look at the plant itself here, we see it has little joints where a leaf comes off of it, and you can feel a couple little pointed structures here on the end. This is where roots will form. So this is all ready to go. So what we're going to do is just take the knife and make our cutting so that we have a section of the stem with the little root ends on it, and we'll still have part of the root on it, or excuse me, part of the leaf on it. And what we're going to do is just make a little bit of an indentation in the soil, and then we're going to put this piece down in the soil. Just get it in contact with the soil, and then you'll wet it, and this will begin to grow roots into it and will take place. So the big thing we want to watch here is the cut ends. We want to allow these to air dry for about 3 to 4 hours, and then you can go ahead and plant them. If we plant them with them real wet, fresh cut, a lot of times you can get disease organism into them. So this is one way we can do it. We can take stem cuttings. Here's a Syngonium Arrowhead Plant. Same kind of thing. You can see along here where it has the little root structures beginning. All we have to do is cut one piece where the node has the little root pieces on it, and again stick it into the soil. We don't want to put it in this way, we want to lay it in flat with it. And then some of our plants that don't have the root formations on, say this Ficus, we want to come in and make a cut where we have the stem to work with. We want to take off some of the leaves to reduce water loss. So we're going to leave somewhere about maybe a leaf on about 20% of the cutting. And what we're going to do is go ahead and make a hole down in the pot and put our cutting in there. And then we'll need to keep the soil moist, and sometimes a glass jar, something like that inverted over the top of it, will help to keep the humidity in. That will help that to root. So some of our harder to propagate materials, we do want to dip this into our rooting hormone mix, and then we can make our cuttings that way. Keep them moist. You can use a little bit of plastic or, again, glass around it. That'll help to keep them moist and humid, and you'll have much more success with your propagation. So that's kind of a quick insight into some home propagation.